Aloha New Hope volunteers, Pastor Gavin here. Many may characterize this past year as a year of disappointments. Loss of income, loss of jobs, loss of businesses, and even isolation have characterized this past season. The new year brought more disappointments as reopenings were delayed and tiered quarantines extended. It might be easy to give up in the midst of a global pandemic because we are dealing with so many things that are outside of our control. Although it is true that many things are outside of our control, what are the things that we can control? In 1 Samuel 30, David was greatly distressed because the men were talking of stoning him. Each one was bitter in spirit because of his sons and daughters. But David found strength in the Lord his God. David had suffered great loss due to the Amalekite raid, the same as each of his men. Both of his wives were captured, yet his men were talking of stoning him. David's men were bitter because of their perceived loss, and they blamed David for it. David found his strength in the Lord because he knew the Lord would deliver him. Perception is what distinguished the actions of David from that of his men. David's men were suffering in their perceptions. They didn't realize that David would be victorious. 200 of David's men were too exhausted to even go and fight for their own families. Those 200 men were mentally defeated. David still showed them kindness in the end and allowed them to take a share of the plunder in spite of the insistence of the men who were willing to fight. God is always in control, and yet we sometimes doubt when things seem not to go our way. It can even be convenient to look for another human to blame. When our eyes are clouded by the perception of loss and lack of human control, then we soon forget who is really in control. We become blind to solutions directly in front of us when we are blinded by our pain, ambition, fear, or shame. Our perceptions can be used by the enemy to reject the very ones that God has granted with the gifts that can deliver us from our pain. As we wallow in our wounds, we can easily dismiss God's plan by subjecting ourselves to the fallacy of reality. There is a reality that exists only in our human eyes, visible to our flesh, but we become blind to the reality that is in our Lord Jesus Christ. We have full control over our perceptions, and we have full control over the exercise of our faith. God is always in control, and things will happen according to His will. Even as we deal with our disappointment, this has been a season of great victory. We have seen miraculous healings, and many have been added to our number as more and more say yes to Jesus each week. Let's choose to exercise our faith in this season. Let's water and fertilize that faith with perseverance and endurance. Thank you for joining me this week, New Hope. I hope to see you at weekend services. God bless you.